In this episode, I'm going to tell you everything you want to know about the Velowave Ranger 2.0 that you didn't want to read about in the manual. Let's go.
I just wanna ball, making plays. Hit a crisscross, make a fall, win the game. Break his ankles, what you doing in my lane? Hit him with an alley-oop, now they screaming out my name. Let's do it. Take it to the hoop, push through it. Get to it. Showstopper, you the champ, let's do it. Moving state to state, I'ma show you how to play. I just wanna ball, so just get up out my way. I just want it all, so right now you gotta wait. I just gotta call, cause it's money to be made. Ring so big, you can't even see my face. Ballin' on the court, make them chase. Buzzer beater, shot clock, first place. Got them running plays like they running in a race. I just wanna ball. I just wanna ball. I just wanna ball. I just wanna ball.
All right, fellas, and the two ladies that watch the Voltron Watch channel. In this episode right now, we're gonna go over the Velowave Ranger. I'm gonna go over everything that I think is good and the bad. I'm not here to BS you. I wanna tell you everything that's good and bad about the bike. If they cut some costs, is make some savings. Maybe they reinvested those savings in another feature in the bike, but that's what we're gonna talk about. Starting from the front, I'm talking about the features of the bike, right? This bike comes with Kenda tires. Kenda tires, it's a reputable brand. They've been around a long time. They make good tires, quality tire. You'll see some other Chinese manufacturers put lesser quality tires on their bikes. But just keep in mind, when you're looking at a bike and you're seeing the price point, there are things that companies are doing to stand out from others, and putting good quality components is one of those things. Okay, so the fork, it's a fork. It does its job. It has a lockout feature. It does not have any other feature besides locking out. So you have suspension, right? And then you have rigid, no suspension. Sometimes forks will have a compression and a dampener setting on the left side of this bike. It has what would look like a dial to affect the way that the fork is going to act under certain conditions. That's just a fake dial. It doesn't do anything. The only feature of this fork is the lockout. I can't ignore the fact that this is the headlight on this bike. This is a pretty expensive e-bike. I mean, if you compare it to other bikes on the market, it's pretty expensive. It's in the middle range, right, of e-bikes. But the headlight, this headlight, that's not gonna do it for me. If I'm riding at night and I'm going 28 miles an hour, I need more than this headlight on here. I'm just being honest with you. I'm being honest with Velowave too. If you're watching this video, I think we deserve a better headlight at the price point in which this bike is. This light puts out about as much light as a candle if I had to compare it to something. Better light in version 2. Let's go, new light, better light. In previous iterations of this bike, I've noticed, and I did some research on this, these bikes came with metal fenders. This is what I was telling you about when companies save money somewhere to put money in the battery or the controller, the motor, to make those components better. But in this case, I feel like they cheaped out on the fenders. This bike, if I remember right from the research I did, came with metal fenders. This one has plastic fenders. Coming back to the kind of the center of the bike here, you'll notice that there is a built-in brace here. You can put your water bottles here. You can put an extra bag in here. Whatever you out there in YouTubeverse carry. One of the things on this bike that I like is the adjustable seat. On some e-bikes, that is not an option. It is a rigid frame in some cases, and you are not able to adjust the seat up and down. Speaking of the seat, it's actually pretty comfortable and it's not hard to pedal. Do I want to pedal it? No, I don't want to pedal it. I didn't buy this bike to pedal it. I don't want to pedal it, but if I have to, I could. Where I had mentioned where companies will save money to put money elsewhere, this bike comes from the factory with the rack. Typically, when you have to buy a rack, they're about another $100, $80 to $100 for a rack. This bike comes with a rack. So for me, that's a bonus. Save some money on the fenders, give me a rack. Okay, cool. And coming back here, We have a 7-speed Shimano shifter. This is a pretty common shifter for e-bikes in this class. One thing about the shifter, and we'll talk about it when we get up to the dash, is on this bike, it has a twist grip gear change. Instead of having the click levers, like most of us I think are used to, or I'm used to, this one has a twist, but the throttle is on the left side. So the throttle being on the left side was a little hard for me to get used to because I ride mostly electric dirt bikes. I didn't say I was a good rider, but that's mostly what I ride. So it was hard for me to get used to the throttle on the left side. Coming back here to the back of the bike, we kind of talked about the light in the front. It puts off as much light as maybe a candle in your bathroom. The light in the back, well, wait a minute, this isn't even a light. At this price point, it comes with a reflector. I would like to see a light back here, and bikes in this price point are coming with a light that has an integrated lever that actuates the brake light. Okay, I had to move my cameras into the shade because in Texas is where I'm recording and it is 3 million degrees. This is my 10th shirt. No e-bike review would be complete if I didn't talk about the motor. And on this bike, it has a 750 watt motor. In the past, from the research that I've done, that looked like these bikes came with a Bafang motor. Looking at it now, it looks like Velowave maybe contracted out their own company to make the motors for this company. It is branded a Velowave motor. To be honest with you, I don't care if it's a Velowave motor or a Bafang motor or a toaster oven, as long as it performs and it does what it's supposed to do reliably. And since we're back here, we'll talk about the brakes. We'll hit on the brakes real quick. These are Zito hydraulic brakes, front and rear. They do okay. They're 180 millimeter rotors, front and back. The brakes stop you. That's what brakes do. They stop you. So I like that. A lot of e-bike reviewers overlook the small things, and I'm here to tell you the small things. Some companies don't put a brake in between the line that goes to the controller and that goes to the motor. This is super nice to have because if you had to change your tire, whether you're in the garage or on the side of the road and you gotta change your tire, you can break the connection right here. If you didn't have this connection, like my Ride 1 Up, it does not have a connection right here. If I wanna change my tire, I have to take the whole wire out and disconnect it from the controller in order to put that tire on. So having the motor brake here is really nice to have. You won't find that on any other review. Okay. The company has saved some money in some places. I get it, the fenders, the lights. I get it. One of the things that is unique about this bike versus some of the other bikes on the market is the battery. Not where it is and not how it installs, but the cells that are used. Per the website, these are LG cells. So if you find an e-bike that uses an LG cell or a Samsung cell, you can expect that bike to cost more. Those are better quality batteries. A lot of the bikes coming out of China are just gonna have cheap Chinese cells that are going to degrade faster and not give you as much longevity as you use the bike. This bike has a quality battery in it. An LG cell is some of the best you can get, and that's what this bike has. So they saved some money somewhere and then they made it up. We made up, we kissed and made up, and here we are with a quality battery. And the way that you get this battery in and out is super simple. You just put the key in, turn the knob, and the battery drops out. You can charge the battery in the bike, or you can take it inside your garage, and you can charge it outside of the bike. Too easy. And to bring you up here into the dashboard, guys, this is the levers. They are metal levers, hydraulic brakes, like I had mentioned earlier. This is the throttle on the left side, right? That might throw some of you off in the beginning. The display here, nice display, super easy to read, Velowave. So it's gonna tell you what our miles per hour is, our battery, the mileage that we've ridden, and our gear selector here. Up to 5, just goes up to 5 is your assistance level down to 1. And if you hold this button and this button, it'll clear that odometer reading right there, boom. And if you hold this plus sign right here, the screen will dim and you'll get a little light up here that says, oh, the headlight's on. There she is. Let's see the headlight. Oh, it's a cute little headlight. There she is. So this right here, this is nothing. This is my 360 cam mount. And then this is the shifter I was telling you about. It's a little dirty, but this is the twist grip. So I'm used to the moto grip to twist it. This kind of threw me off a little bit. If you guys are pedaling the bike, you want to use this shifter, you got to twist it. Some of you might be used to that. Myself, I'm not. Not a deal breaker by any means, just different. So far, you've seen how I put the bike together. We've talked about the details, the pros and the cons. The last thing I want to tell you guys about, or even bring to your attention, is the quality of the welds on this bike. For a bike at this price point, check these welds out. It is a very well-made bike. The frame is super smooth. The finish is super nice. I don't think I've ever seen a review talk to you about the quality of the materials that are made. It's a 6061 aluminum. That's good. It is par for the course when it comes to bike frames, but the welds and the quality of this bike are there. So for $1,200, $1,300, $1,400 or whatever the cost of the bike is at the time of recording this versus the time you're watching this, is it worth it? I think so. I think it is. I think that the amount of fun and pleasure that you can get out of this bike, the battery, the longevity, just the fulfillment of riding something electric and getting places and doing things and running errands on something electric that's quality like this, that for me brings me joy. It brings me pleasure. Anyway, I'm not gonna shed a tear for you guys, I promise. Let's get on the bike, let's go ride it, let's get some final thoughts. Golly, got some torque. This motor's got some torque, boy. All right, guys, so here we are. We are on the Velowave Ranger 2.0 on the test ride here. Just want to get you some thoughts. One of the things I really like about this bike, let's see if I get hit by this car right here. Ooh, don't hit me. Is with certain e-bikes, for example, the Engwe M20 or the Ride 1 Up Rev 1, which I have, those seats are not adjustable. So what you get is what you get, and it might not be comfortable for all riders. On this particular bike, you have adjustability in the seat, so you can accommodate a bunch of different height and inseam differences when it comes to the person that's going to be riding this bike. Another issue with previous e-bikes that I've had that I am not having on this bike is the display. The display is very simple, but it is also legible in the direct sunlight. I had a Happy Run bike, and the screen at night or in the dark, in the shadows, it was beautiful. But during the day, you could not read the screen to save your life. So having a screen that you can read, it might not be the fanciest, but it is practical. So I've been riding this bike now, just shooting this video, and I'm in assist mode 2, I'm pedaling, and we're getting about 14 miles an hour. If I throttle it in mode 2, let's see how fast we can get. Mode 2, throttle only, it should stop at right around 20. Class 3 e-bike, 20 miles an hour under throttle, 28 miles an hour under pedal with mode 5. Let's try that. Mode 5, 3, 4, 5, send it. Let's go. 21, 24, 26, 27, 28, 20. Yeah, I proved my point. I'm tired. 28 miles an hour, mode 5, class 3 e-bike.